We have seen a big jump in Mexico's inflation rate. It is projected to continue to rise. A lot of that may be the government removing fuel subsidies in January and the peso, which weakened substantially after the U.S. election. But gasoline prices won't keep rising, and the peso won't necessarily keep falling. It has strengthened some. So is further action by the central bank needed at this point?
Hello, Mike. Good to be with you. As you have highlighted, the inflation in Mexico has been exhibiting basically two types of shocks. One is coming from the exchange rate depreciation, not only after the election, but it has been in the last years. And I will also say that changes in relative prices coming from gasoline, as you highlighted, have created additional short-term pressures on inflation. And here, our main job is to make sure that inflation expectations remain well anchored and that price formation in the economy also remain adequately and in place. What we want to avoid is that these change in relative prices induce an increase or an acceleration in inflation. And that's why monetary policy in the last months have been tighter. Also in the most recent monetary policy meeting, the rates were increased. And we believe this is creating a more orderly outlook for the inflation going forward.
Well, Banxico has raised the benchmark rate by more than double since 2015. Have all those rate increases been justified, and do you need to do more?
Well, I think that is always the question on the market side. But what I can tell you is that we think that the increase in rates that has been put in place up, as of today, it has created significantly orderly adjustment to significant shocks that the economy has been seeing. And we believe that going forward, of course, this will be contingent on several items. One is relative monetary conditions vis-a-vis the U.S. Also, how discontamination from price formation could potentially affect the next inflation numbers, and also output gap. I think we need to be also mindful that probably the U.S. economy is going to accelerate its GDP growth, and the contrary is expected for the Mexican economy. So different business cycles, and those are going to be the elements that are going to be judged by the board going forward.
With Mexican growth expected to slow, some worry that you have used up most of your ammunition, and with Trump in office and still threatening things that would affect the Mexican economy, do you have many tools left to fight that?
I think the central bank always have tools at their disposal. I think that we have been using those tools, and I think we have induced an orderly adjustment. Basically, of course, the uncertainty and the volatility that we have faced in the markets have been substantial. As you know, it is going to be very important for the real exchange rate and for the peso to basically have less uncertainty in terms of our trade outlook going forward. That is precisely what is going to be taking place in the next months, and we want to ensure that until that information is fully determined, that the price formation in the economy gets done in an orderly way.
The dramatic moves by the Trump administration reflected mostly in the value of the peso. What's your view of the peso's value? Overvalued, undervalued, severely undervalued? And what is your view of currency market intervention?
Well, I would say that making a guess about the overvaluation of the exchange or undervaluation, it's always very hard. I think the market has been, to a large extent, a deep and liquid market. We believe in terms of intervention, as you know, the Exchange Rate Commission, which is chaired by the Ministry of Finance and the central bank, is the authority in terms of exchange rate decisions. The goal has been to foster good and more liquidity in the market, and only in scatter and only in a few instances where the market liquidity dries up in a very significant way, and it could be prone to rapid and sudden movements in the exchange rate without almost any meaningful volume, it has been instances when there has been some intervention. So the intervention is only as in trying to promote adequate liquidity and adequate price formation on the exchange rate. Going forward, and as you highlighted, there is still a lot of uncertainty out there, and there is still to be known in terms of what is the future of U.S. And Mexico relations going to look like, and what's the future of Nafta going to look like. And I'm sure that whenever that is reached, the price formation and the exchange rate would reach a level according with that outcome.
There is some concern of a credit rating downgrade in the coming year for Mexico. Is that out of Mexico's hands at this point? Is most of what is happening to the Mexican economy being driven by external factors?
Well, I think probably as of today, the single most important element of uncertainty regarding the Mexican economy is precisely that, and our trade relation with the U.S. and the future of Nafta. So I am sure that probably is something that also these rating agencies are engaging themselves.
All right, let me ask you about your future. First of all, is it your understanding that Governor Carstens still plans to leave in July? There is some talk of him staying on through the rest of the year.
Well, I think there is, as you can imagine, it's not my position to make any concrete comment about that. What I can tell you is that it has been an enormous honor and privilege for me to be nominated by the President and ratified by the Senate to be a member of the board, and happy to be in the central bank.
Well, would you like to head the central bank? Are you interested in the top job? And if so, what direction would you take Banxico?
Well, I don't want to go around that issue. As I highlighted, probably I am the least suitable to make that, to answer that directly. What I can tell you is that I am very happy to be part of the board and to be here and trying to in these difficult and volatile times, try to make sure that we have an orderly adjustment.